Slava Isusa Christus, Slava Navika, glory be to Jesus Christ, glory be forever. This is Father Basil, and tomorrow, of course, is going to be Pentecost Sunday. And, you know, I was reflecting upon the apostles, all the people involved with the story of Pentecost Sunday, and they were in this room being very, very afraid because Jesus had ascended into heaven 10 days earlier, and they felt like they were all left alone, like they had nobody to turn to, nobody to lead them. And we can often feel the same way today in our modern world. We often feel like we are fighting a losing battle, that we, are not getting anywhere in our ministries, in our, faith building with people. And the story, of course, is that the Holy Spirit came upon the apostles in that room and all those people gathered in the room, which supposedly also included Mary, the Mother of God. And they all went out into the streets of Jerusalem, praising the Lord in all these different languages and having that zeal to, approach people and talk about Jesus. And that's definitely what we're missing in our world today. We're missing that zeal to talk to people about Jesus. And that's probably one of the reasons why our churches are not as full as they should be. And that, the priests um, are scared these days because of what's happening in our world to approach people who are not of our faith. And we know that the devil is trying to destroy the church. We know that the devil is trying to destroy relationships, marriages. The devil is trying to destroy families. That's what the devil is trying to do. And unfortunately, we're letting the devil succeed in many times in doing this. You know, all we do is argue in churches, in families, in relationships, between people. We always are only thinking of our own agendas. We're only thinking about what suits us personally, not thinking beyond that. And the apostles certainly did not have that selfish type of attitude. They did not just do what suited them, they did what pleased God. And I've been also thinking when our ancestors came from Ukraine to Canada, and what was the first thing they did? One of the first things they did is build churches. Even though they were poor, they had very little, they built a church. And why did they do that? Because faith was important to them. They would give every last cent they had to make sure there was a worship space for people to gather together and pray for the needs of everyone. Boy, has our world ever changed, hasn't it? You know? So, you know, what can we do? What can we do in this world? We can only do you know, what we can use the skills God has given to us, not for selfish purposes, not for what we want in this world, but to do the will of God. Those apostles 2,000 years ago, those people in that room during Pentecost were afraid. They were very afraid of their future. They were very afraid of what was going to happen to them. And we too can feel that way today. What's going to happen with our economy? What's going to happen with COVID again? And what's going to happen with inflation and cost of living? Are we going to be, able to afford all the things we were, able to afford before? And yeah, those are real concerns. Those are real issues that we have to deal with day after day after day. Believe me, priests have to deal with the same thing. And we have to trust in God. We have to trust that, like 2,000 years ago, God will provide for us. Just like He provided for those apostles. He gave them the zeal. He gave them that missionary spirit to go preach the good news to all the nations, right? And we are not doing that very well right now. We are not preaching the good news to all the nations like we're supposed to be. We make excuses. We make a lot of excuses. Oh, well, we're not talented enough. We don't know enough. We don't want to offend other people. We don't want to make other people angry at us. We don't want to lose our friends. All those are excuses, right? We are all going to be judged for our actions on this earth. For how did we use our talents? Remember that parable of the talents, when that master gave each person different talents to use in this world. And, those are spiritual talents. Those are talents to grow our faith in this world. And what did the first one did? They doubled their talents. They doubled what they were given. The second person did the same. They doubled their talents. And the third person hid their talents in the ground because they were afraid. See, if we keep on hiding our talents, keep on hiding the things God gives to us, and not using them for evangelization, if we keep on saying, well, I don't want to talk about God to other people, I don't want to, make them angry at me, I don't want to talk about my faith with my children, I don't want to talk about, what is right and wrong with people around me, because I don't want them to say, get up, go away, be quiet. These are the things we're afraid of. And this is why we are in this position we are today. Because we are afraid to be Catholics. We are afraid to practice our Catholic faith. My hope is that during this Pentecost season, we are given that zeal of the Holy Spirit to preach the gospel by our actions, by our words, by all the things that we have in this world. and to share our talents with one another, not hide them in the ground, not keep them separate from everyone else. That is not how we should be doing things. Anyways, God bless you. Have a wonderful night and happy Pentecost.